everyone, and welcome. This is going to be a little different kind of process video for me. I'm going to call it Down the Rabbit Hole with Lynda because Lynda doesn't know where she's going or what she's going to end up with. I wanted to do some videos where I start from the beginning and show you my process. Most of my videos have been where I've finished something and I showed you the finished process. For example, this piece I just finished, and I love it. It's definitely me, and it's got so much interest and so much going on. And I would normally make something, finish it, and then explain how I went about putting it together. But with a few comments from some of you very gracious people, I realized that for a lot of people, that's still very confusing. They don't see me stitching all this. They don't see me making choices of what I'm going to do here, there, and the other. They don't see me making mistakes, adapting, tweaking, changing direction. They don't see all that process. So they just see a finished product. And sometimes the finished product, they look at that and say, oh, there's no way I could do that. And when actually it's doable for everyone who has a needle and thread in their hand. So I wanted to do some process videos that was more from the beginning, more detail. They, of course, were going to be a great deal longer because it takes a while to stitch these projects. And also I wanted to be able to show you the beginning so that if you wanted to grab some fabrics and scraps and get your project together where you can stitch along with me, that would be great. On this one here, I had a piece cut already in my scrap, so I thought I would use it. It is a 9 by 11, approximately a 9 by 11. And it's a batik background, and as you can see, it has purples, pinks, greens, yellows, just a combination of colors in there. And so I knew I wanted to do a floral, and I knew I wanted a centerpiece for that floral to be this piece right here. Now, this is something I made a long time ago. It's one of my medallion flowers. It is simply a circle cut. This is about, well, don't say about, let's measure it. It's a 3.5 inch circle, and out a piece of batting is all. You can see the raw edges of the fabrics I put on the back side sticking over a little. So what I did was I basically cut pie shapes out of different laces and shears and other things, and just kind of stacked them up around and made the different fabrics come out, so it kind of looks like a petal, flower petals a little bit. Then I put some threads that came actually out of this fabric here. This was an old scarf, and I put that on there. I put a little bit of string of pearls on there. I had some yarn that had a little shiny glitz in it. I put some of that on there, sprinkled that on. Then I put a piece of netting. I don't know if you can see this netting, but I put a piece of netting over that to hold it down, pinned it, and then came and hand stitched it. You can see the stitching around the outside that holds everything down, okay? So that's really very doable. It's kind of fancy looking simply because it's got a little glitz, it's got lacy stuff, it's got a little bit of pearls, and so you just kind of put the colors on there that you think you might like, and then just sew it on there. And it's only sewn around the outside and 1 or 2 places to keep the pearls in place so they don't shift in there. Otherwise, everything's going to be secure. And whether or not I add any more stitching to this, I don't know. When you go down the rabbit hole with me, really, you're in the dark. Because I'm in the dark. Because I create by the seat of my pants. I create as I go. I have a general layout to start with, and then I build it as I go. Sometimes I build disasters. I mean, honestly, disasters. I can't even like them. So, you know, they got to be bad. But other times I build things I really, really love. And so I think you can learn from all of that. You can learn from my mistakes. You can learn from tweaks and turns that I take that I shouldn't have. You can learn when I make choices that I should have done the opposite, as well as you can learn from the things that I do that are right, at least for me. Now, when I get through with a piece and I love it, it's art to me, okay? When I say something is a disaster, it's just not right for me. It might be perfect for somebody else, but it's not right for me. So I'm judging my art, nobody else's. And that's the way you should judge yours. Don't judge yours by mine or anybody else's. Judge yours by what you love and what you don't. And if you love it, it's art, right? I agree. Okay, so I took this fabric here and I just cut some petal shapes. They're not even all, these are smaller than these around here. They're not only perfect. They're about, the bigger ones are about 3 inches long and an inch, almost 2 inches wide at the thickest part of it. The littler one is about 2 inches long and about 2 inches wide. I just fold up the fabric and cut it out. And whatever I come out with is what I use, okay? So I cut the fabric. Let me see if I can find it here for you. I simply fold the fabric over like this. Cut me a section off. Fold it again. And if that were my section right there, then I would cut a leaf shape out of all of them. And whatever I came out with is what I would use, okay? I make sure that what I start with is going to be big enough for the area that I'm going to use. But I don't fussy cut every little petal, and I don't make sure everything is straight and everything is perfect for it. Like this one has kind of a straight edge rather than a nice curved edge. It doesn't matter. You're going to layer up and you're going to stitch and you're going to do whatever you want to do with these petals, and they're going to be fine, okay? So again, this is all scrappy art. Then I took some sheer fabric I had and I folded it and cut it into long leaf shapes, and it's very sheer, and so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those yet. I'm not sure. This will be my centerpiece of my flower when I put it on like that. And how much stitching and what I'm going to do with it, I don't know yet. We'll just wait and see. This is just some fabric I had that I thought it played okay with the colors in the background without being too standoutish. It did bring the yellows up and out because I have so much of the blues. I thought this mustardy yellow would be good in here. It has some little brown spots in there or whatever. And I don't know if I'll add any more stringy texture, any more leaves. I don't know anything yet, except this is my general setup, okay? Now, what I will do with this is take a picture. When I get through with this video, I will take a photo of this because everything basically is coming off, except I will start with the stems and I will get those sewn down. And then I will put probably the back petals on and do the work and the layering on there I want to do. This will go on pretty close to the last. And I don't know where the leaves will come in yet. I don't know whether I'll work them individually or I'll put them on here and work them. I don't know yet. I may also back these with something so that they're more substantial, or at least one of the pair in each side. You know, I have some ideas going around in my head, but other than that, I don't know. What I'm going to layer on these, I don't know yet, but I'm thinking that it's going to be some sheer fabrics or lacy fabrics, something that is not real heavy, because that would go well with the medallion center, I think. We'll just have to see with that. I have some different shears that I may pull out an audition for that. But this is the beginning of where I start with a new project. And I just get something laid out that I think I like and want to work with, but it's very basic at this point, okay? And it's pretty good sized here with this 9x11. I can't really show you what that looks like in a frame. Let's see. I don't have a mat that size. I still haven't gotten a bigger mat yet, but I can give you some idea of what something like that might look like framed. If you can imagine, if it was a bigger mat, what you might look like. Okay. And remember, you never have to frame something perfectly the way it was laid out. You can always mat out what you want and just frame sections of whatever you work with. Okay. Could come all the way over here with this like this. But it gives you some idea. But I could not position this inside the mat like I like to do, because I don't have a mat this big. And definitely I have to get some bigger mats, because I'm doing a few bigger pieces, and that would help me make sure that I'm balanced. Now I can already tell that for the layout here, I have these leaves here all over too far from to this side, because basically this is not cut straight here, so these will fall off the edge for sure. So I'm going to pull them over right now and get them more in to where they need to be before I take a photo of this, because I want that photo to be pretty much what I want to end up with. Okay, I'm liking that all right. I may move this up or up like that just a little bit more. Let these come down a little bit more. Something like that. I can take these and reposition them and put them in this direction. I could even overlap them with those. But that just, that's just too perfect. Flowers don't grow that perfect. Let's put this back under there. Let's bring it over here. Put it over there. Spread it out a little bit. Yes, I think I like that really well. I think that would be good, because like I said, this is uneven, as you can see, and so if it were matted, it would definitely be matted, to keep that edge in. So let's see, to do that, the leaves would fall nicely to the edge there without being cut off. And there's enough room over here to mat, and the leaves are nice there. There's enough room at the top, and there's plenty of playroom here at the bottom. Okay, I can come up. I've got plenty of mat room at the top, plenty of mat room at the bottom. remembering that would be a larger mat inside area that would work for this. It is a good idea to invest in a few good mat sizes that you work in often if you're going to do projects similar to this, which I do a lot of these florals. And anyway, I believe I'm happy with that. I'm going to photograph that, and then I'm going to take it off and start stitching here. Okay. All right. Well, I will be adding more clips to the video, and so I will be picking up the next section and next section. And I'd like to make these videos at least an hour long. That way you have time to get your project and actually sit down and stitch along with me. And it's not just a 10-minute wonder type thing, but we can sit down and actually stitch together, and they may actually even end up being longer because I'm going to video them in smaller sections and combine them and together. So remember, down the rabbit hole with Lynda means just that. We're going to start with something, and we're going to either end up with something I love or something I hate. And but either way, I think you will enjoy the process with me, and that you can learn from my mistakes and my glorious, wonderful decisions that I make that turn out right. And we'll just create together some of this scrappy fiber art that I love so much. And it's just so beautiful hung in your home and done other things with, like embellishing your pillowcases or whatever it is you want to do. It's just fabulous to have this handmade art that you did yourself. Okay, we'll see where we go from that. And until next time, don't be afraid. Jump on down the hole with me. Okay, I'm ready to take these things off of here and get to where I can stitch on. And I just try to put them on a flat board or something that I can keep them all on easily. And slip it on a shelf here over my desk. Okay, that just leaves the stem pieces, which is where I'm going to start. And let's see. I pulled out these threads. I thought they worked well for stitching this piece. And so, get some of this thready things off. Let me pin down, turn it sideways, try to keep it in position, and pin these into place. And get the first basic stitching down on the stems. Okay. And at this point, you're so glad that you didn't forget to take a photograph of your placement so that you'll have something to refer back to should you forget where you want things. Now, to clean up some of these threads, I just use a little Scotch tape here to get some of these little threads off around my desk. That way my piece won't be picking up so many of them. Okay. I always start out with simple stitches to start with, because you can always add decorative stitches later if you want to. Now, I think I'm going to graduate a little bit here. Let's start with the darkest brown on the piece that's furthest back. And see how that will take us. I use 2 strands of floss 90% of the time, and that I like working with that. It shows well enough, but it's not totally overpowering, since it's not always the stitching that I'm focusing on in my pieces. I'm not an embroidery artisan, or I'm more of just textile art. Slow stitching and textile art. Okay. Got that one. Probably should have got a longer piece, but I didn't cut it too long, so we'll see how far it goes. And let's just go up this piece, and I think I'm just going to do a running stitch on this at this point, close to the edge. I'm going to make it close to the edge, and I'm going to do it in smaller stitches because I don't want this piece to ravel completely out. If it fringes a little on the edges, that's great, but so I'll make my stitches smaller, just small running stitches. So I hope you've grabbed your project and are thinking about it anyway, and will work along with me. I'll try to prepare us for each video that comes, so you can have a little time to prep your stuff or get it ready if you're working along with me. This first one, I know that you don't have time to coordinate yours with this one, so maybe you can catch up off camera, so to speak, and then on the second one you can be ready to stitch along with me as I stitch. Since these are going to be longer videos, you'll have time to grab your things to do that. Okay. Now, I don't want this piece to be so long. Let's cut some of that off. Let's tuck it under like that. And that way I can sew over the top of it, that section. Get in there like that. Let me know if you're enjoying my community posts. I'm trying to diversify and put some different topics there, different writing articles, different things about art, life, cooking, whatever. They're my life experiences and thoughts and opinions, and some of articles that I've written, and I just thought you might enjoy them, a little something extra here on my channel. So let me know what you think about those, if you're enjoying those community posts. Also, don't forget that I have my stitching and story time, where I am reading my own books that I've written, and I will be finalizing the story You Owe Me in the next few days. It'll have one more segment to be completing that story. So you can come and you can watch me stitch and listen to a good story while you do that. You can come with these Down the Rabbit Hole with Lynda series and have some longer process videos where I do projects from start to finish on camera so that you can work along with me. There are a lot of videos on the playlist that are shorter and have all kinds of applications for stitchery, even junk journaling, and you can enjoy those. So be sure to go through some of those and see what you might like. I'd appreciate if you're not a subscriber and you enjoy the content, if you would consider doing that. If you think I've earned that right, I would love to have you as a subscriber. And also, please share my videos with your friends and your groups and so forth and so on, so that we can get more fun here with more people. The more people we have, the more comments we have. It's just wonderful because you get all kinds of inspiration from others. And I know everybody isn't comfortable with commenting and or posting on YouTube. They're just here to watch, and that's okay too. That's perfectly okay. But if you are comfortable, I so appreciate your input. I am not easily offended unless you just outright want to insult me. And so your candid opinions are welcome. And I'm going to stick that edge under there too. And that's coming along nicely to outline this stem. I'm going to be stitching it in these other colors also that I picked out, but this back one I wanted to kind of outline in the darker brown. The darker color will make it recede when everything is on here. Give a little bit of dimension. Not much, but a little bit. Okay, that's looking good, don't you think? Okay. I'm going to go down and across and start on the other side. I am not real. At 77, you can appreciate I did not grow up in the electronic age. And everything that I have learned, I've learned the hard way, it seems like. It doesn't come natural to me. So I'm not a technical whiz when it comes to all this video things, camera things, uploading, downloading, all that editing and all those kind of things. But I will do my best to get you the best quality that I can from the equipment that I have and my understanding of how to use it. I think that also I will try to do some on-camera videos off and on. I know that people like to see the people that they're watching and talking to, and I'll try to do that along too, as I have a video that is conducive for that. And anyway, those things will be coming up in the future, but I will try to give you the best quality I can. I shoot with my iPhone the videos I upload to my computer, and that's from there is how I work on getting them onto YouTube and so forth. So if you want to know what I'm doing, I don't have a big camera set up or anything like that. Just shooting with my phone. I thought, boy, how nice it would be if I had a teenager over here who was all tech savvy and they'd do all that in for me. But I just don't have one in the neighborhood, so neighborhood I live in fact, just I think has one child on the block and he's 3. So he's not a lot of help to me in that area. Plus the fact that I'm not a big enough channel to be monetized, so you know, someday if I get to that point and I can earn a little money along the way, maybe I can invest in equipment that makes my videos better. But meantime, I'm kind of stuck with what I've got. Let's get this one underneath. That works. Okay. Being February now in Northeast Texas, we're getting some days that get up into the 60s and 70s. Kind of a preview of spring coming on. We'll have more cold weather. We always have a freeze around Easter time, and so we're not over with cold weather around here, but it is so nice to have a break. And with this El Nino that seems to be in place in the U.S., we are getting extra amounts of rain. So it's been very wet, and it's raining every week, 2 or 3 days during the week. So we've been having a lot of that, and you put that with cold weather, and that's bad and nasty. But I'm looking forward to spring. I can't wait to plant something and have some color in my flower beds again, and have my tomato plants growing. Do you like tomatoes? I love tomatoes. And I'm going to plant a couple varieties of the little cherry tomatoes this year and see how I do with them in my container garden here at the new house. It'll be my first time in a long time to be able to grow something like that, since I was in an apartment before we moved here. I just didn't have area for that, you know. So if you got any suggestions on tomato varieties or anything like that, you know, I'm open. Okay, let's choose another one. How about, let me see. Let's see how this color I have up here on my light would work, since I've already got it. Okay, come on, Tangle. Come on, I need you off the light. Boy, I can get a tangle mess up out of here. Let's see. Give you some clue of what I'm working with up here. Okay, this one got tangled down here. That's what it was, holding it all up. I hang these over my light, and then I just pull them off when I need them. That's okay. That's a pretty good contrast. It doesn't have to be as deep as this one. Let's try that. We're going to put him on this one here. Use the same stitch to get it down and secure it on the background. Okay, here we go. Let's work with this one. You know what? This one I may do an overcast. I think I will. I think I'll change up the stitch right here and do the overcast on the edge. Not a really blanket stitch, just an overcast. That makes the color show up a little bit more, and it'll give me a different texture and variety. One thing that I do like to do is change up. I don't do every element exactly the same. That in itself is an embellishment. If you haven't looked, I have posted a new community post on developing an artist eye. And I think that's really important, how you look at things, especially if you want to design your own stitchery pieces. Kind of looking and learning, but developing an artist eye is how you learn from what you see, because you've got to see more than what is just evident. As an artist, you've got to see more detail and pick up on things and why they're there, what they're doing to the overall, how they're affecting the color, the light, the shadow, the look, the texture, all those things. So you might enjoy that article. Okay. Now remember, there is no pre-plan to my design and creation. You saw that my design started out just laid out for composition and pieces and color and fabric. Those kind of things were chosen in the beginning, but as far as the rest of it goes, it's just getting it down together, putting it in, seeing what happens. And remember that I do a lot of layering, so the first thing that goes down is not the finish. And you want to remember that too when you're creating, that you don't, your first layer doesn't have to be your last layer. You've got all kinds of options to embellish that, work with it, create with it. Even if you put something down that you decide you don't like, if I put this down, I decided I really hate what I put here, I can change it up a lot by how I layer other things on it. And so design and creation is an ongoing thing all during your project from start to finish. It is for me because I am not a pre-planner and a plotter. I'm doing this by the seat of my pants, as I said. And when you fall down the rabbit hole, well, wherever you land is where you land. And you look around and see what's around you, and you go from there. Okay? Tell me which kind of stitchery you like best. Do you like embroidery? Do you like just designing and creating slow stitch pieces? Do you like slow stitch that lends itself more to fiber art? Do you like creating and sewing traditionally, machine sewing? Do you like creating clothes, home decor items, craft items? Tell me what you like. I like to do all of it, actually. I don't have time, it seems, to do all of it. But that's another thing I would like to do here on my YouTube channel, is in the future do some different things. I'm going to be creating things for my home this year and next year. And so my wall hanging, my memory roll turned wall hanging videos are about a piece of slow stitch art that I'm going to be doing for a large wall hanging. Now it will either hang over my couch or over my dining room table. My dining room table is a long, narrow table. It's 8 foot long, and it goes on a long blank wall. And so it's possible that I may use it on that wall where my dining table goes. My husband made my table, and I'll show it to you in another video. And he did a wonderful job. I described to him what I wanted. I wanted a country-looking table that would sit 8 to 10 people. And so we talked about it, and I told him what I wanted, and he got out there and he made it for me, and I just love it. And so I'm thinking that maybe instead of putting this piece that I'm working on in the living room, I may hang it on that blank wall next to this dining table, because the dining table is country rustic in design, very cottagey and cottage country, I'd say. And so it might look good there. But the point is, I'm creating things for my home, and I will be creating them here on YouTube with you. I've got a whole list of items that I want to make, and so some of them I've made before, some would be brand new to me. So we can create those together, or at least I can share my process with you. And I will be doing probably a few more machine sewn items also. So many of us do both machine and hand stitching that I think that you would enjoy that, having a variety of hand stitched items and machine stitched items. And of course, some of them incorporate both. So I also have my back porch stitching project, designing and decorating and filling up my back porch. That I have a video on that too, you might watch. And I want to make it, a comfortable area for my husband and I, kind of like a sunroom. It has lots of windows and light, enclosed for all weather purposes. And but also I wanted to have it for a space where if I wanted to have some friends over to do some crafting, we would have a nice area to sit and work in. I think that would be nice. Someone said, well, I ought to start a slow stitching salon, and I thought, well, I don't think so. I've got so many projects going now, but basic all of that is a salon, in its original sense was a gathering of like-minded people to talk and discuss and share things together. So kind of like a craft group, but it was called a salon in its day, I believe was French term, and I could be wrong on that, so correct me if I am. I find this so relaxing at times that I swear that I almost go to sleep while I'm doing it. I get really relaxed. So if I get really, really, really quiet, you might you might knock on the door and say, wake up, Lynda, you're videoing. But stitching is one of the most relaxing activities I have ever done. And it can be done with company or alone. And so whatever mood you're in, it works for you. I know ladies that take it to work, and on their breaks and lunch hours, they stitch while they're doing other things, and they find that relaxes them more than anything else. And I'm thinking, wow, that's a nice thing to do and to teach others to do. There seems to be so many people so stressed today. Everybody needs a little relaxation in their life. And if a simple needle and thread can do that for you, well, that's what we need to do. Another lady buys little stitchery kits, and that's what she gives to people that are discouraged or depressed or down about things. She gives them these little kits. And she said she's had some really good experiences with that. People really thanking her that how much it helped them. So anyway, I was just thinking that might be something we can think about. Okay, we're about to get around this stem. And you know, while I was sitting here doing this stem, I was thinking about an idea that I might try to put some pop in this piece already. Take it in a direction that I didn't originally plan to take it, but we will see what might happen. I'll show it to you. Let me get this. Okay, what I got to over here, I have some of this fabric right here, this black and white, and that's always a fun thing to add a little black and white to something, because it just has a way of really setting it off. This piece is just a scrap. I like that. Let me cut it down just a little bit more. Make it a little thinner here at the top. Not too much, but a little bit. Bring it over to the side. Yeah. I think that's kind of cool. I like that. That's one of those seat of the pants, spur of the moment things. If it crosses my mind, it's liable to find its way into my piece. So let's pin this down. I'm going to keep it to the side because I may be doing something on the other side and I want room to work in, but isn't that cute? I'm thinking I like that. I don't know how it's going to go with the whole overall at the end, but you know what? We're going to do it. We're just going to take the plunge and do it. Remember, we're down the rabbit hole. Anything can happen here. That's why it's called adventure. We're venturing into areas we've never been before. Okay. I like that. And I think I'm going to try to do that, outline that in some black thread here I got. Yep, I got it. A little short piece, but it'll work. Let's see. And a lot of times when people are watching me, they'll say, well, you stitched that, but then you just turn around and covered it up. Well, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If I stitched it, it's down and it's secure, and so that's a good thing. And if I cover it up, that's okay too, don't you think? Okay, I am going to do an overcast on this outside edge. See how that works. Now this very top piece will be under the flower, so this is, how many strands do I have here? 2, maybe 3. I thought I had 2, but there might be 3 in there. It feels like 3 and looks like 3. Okay. This piece is kind of light weaved, and it will fray very easily, so the overcast will help it just a little to stay intact. A little fraying is okay, but we don't want it to come all apart. Whoa, yep, almost went too far. We will get rid of this pin. That's another good reason why to have your tub of scraps next to you, where if you glance down, your eye will catch something. Like that's what happened with this piece here. It caught my eye, so I pulled it out, put it on my desk, and thought, well, I might or might not use it. And so if your scraps are around you, get you a big tub and just put them in there and keep them close while you're working on a project so that you have easy access. And you can't always remember what you have, so you need to be able to see it, visually see it, for it to trigger that, yes, that would look good on this. So keep your scraps where you can see them when you're working. Now, obviously, I have too many scraps to keep all of them visual, but I always have a big tub and 2 or 3 little tubs around me. And I will change those out. I will switch them up. I will mix up. I'll do, keep something happening every few days that changes them up a little. Okay. This flower doesn't know it, but it has a very unusual stem going on here. Another thing that I learned through years of practice was I used to, like when I would start something like this, the whole time I'd be so nervous and stressed because I thought, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, I know I'm going to make those petals, but what am I going to do with them? Or how are they going to turn out? Or what colors am I going to use? Or how am I going to layer them? Or what stitching is going on? I would just overthink everything. And so I learned really quick, stop it. You're taking all the joy out of it. Work in the moment. The hardest part for me now is just to begin, just get something down. And once we do that, I'm on the roll. I'm going to go with it some way or another. And though I don't always know where I'm going, that's okay. the fact is I'm moving, and if I'm moving, there's progress and I can work something out. So please don't overthink and overstress over your projects. If you need to be methodical, sit down and plan them out, sketch them out, outline them, whatever you need to do, and get all that over with so that while you're working on it, you're really enjoying the process. Okay, let me get another black. This time I'm going to make sure I just have 2 strands. Because I just don't like working with 3 unless I have to. So, and these black strips were cut fairly short, so they don't last very long when I'm stitching. Okay. But I want to use them up before I, cut off another long piece of black. Okay, let's pick up where we left off here. I hope that y'all are going to enjoy this Down the Rabbit Hole series. The videos are going to be long, and so, they may not be everybody's cup of tea, but to show a process where I start to finish and keep you along with me, that's the way it has to be. And there's no sense in speeding it all up, and that doesn't help. So this series will be for those who just enjoy stitching along, or for those who are beginners and learning, and they like the slower process videos where they can see and understand and work along at the same time. And if you just want a stitching buddy, well, come on down the rabbit hole with me, because we'll be here for a while. Ho, ho, ho. I am going to get a list of topics that kind of like I might put on my community page, but I won't put them there. I'll use them on these Down the Rabbit Hole with Lynda as just topics to conversations that we can talk around, because it's hard to, for any lengthy time, to just talk. So I'm going to get some of those planned out. I am going to plan that out and just get some topics that I can talk about and that might interest my viewers, and gives me something to focus on. And otherwise I'm going to run out of things to say, because I am not a celebrity and a very interesting person overall. I'm so ordinary, it's ordinarily boring. So, all right, that's the black. Now, on that side, I want to come up with this side. I could come up with that color, or I might come up with a purple. Purple would look good. the color of my flowers would look good. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with that. So we'll get us a longer piece here. Okay. I had a little granddaughter that when she was little, she liked to do stuff with me while I was doing things in the craft room. And so if she was still little, she'd be separating this floss for me, getting the 2 strands out of it. And she'd be so cute when she was doing that because, of course, sometimes it got all tangled around her. And but she'd work at it and work at it and work at it, and she was happy. And I was happy to have her company. And sometimes I'd even get something out of it. Untangle thread sometimes. Lady I knew that had a little, she didn't have any granddaughters, but she had a little grandson. And she said he just loved to be in the craft room with her sewing. But his father, when he found out that he liked that and he was doing that with his grandmother, wanted her to stop. He said he didn't want her to sissify his son. And I'm thinking, oh my, that's sad, because some of the best, biggest, greatest designers and fabrics and couture and just any craft is boys, men. And they have great creative sides. And how sad to think that just because you have a needle and thread in your hand, that you're going to be sissified. Wow. So, but anyway, so she didn't get the opportunity to work with him. I thought that was so sad. And who knows, he may have been the world's next greatest designer. Boy, today is one of those days where the sun is going in and out. One minute you have this beautiful light, and the next minute you have this gray, yuck, very cloudy, and so it's not careful, it can fluctuate my mood. I'm going to have to take a break here in a little bit and cut my husband's hair. He's been wanting a haircut the last couple of days, and I have to say he needs it. So I've been cutting his hair for our whole entire married life, which we've been married 59 years. So it's too late to send him to the barbershop now. And so I gotta make some time for do that in a little bit. Okay, that's good. It's not overpowering, but it's a little bit of that color, and which I will be pulling in that flower petal color throughout the process. So this will begin that. You know, I have that. I know that I will be doing that because I don't like to have a color that isn't, doesn't have a relationship to anything else in the piece. So the only way to make sure that it does have a relationship is to repeat that color, that texture, or that fabric, so that it, in some way, this just plain overcast stitch is one of my most often used stitches. It's a utility stitch. It does two things. It gets my piece down securely, but I also like the look of it. And to me, it also has a very vintage look, much like the old blanket stitch is a very vintage look to me. And it screams hand sewing, and so does this overcast stitch. So it fits my style of slow stitching fiber art, and so I use it a lot. Now, I chose this black and white. Of course, your fabric choices are going to be different from mine as you work along with me on these projects. And so you choose whatever you want to pop in. And if you just hate the look of it, don't put it in there. But if you want to follow along and doing pretty much the same thing I'm doing, well, just choose a fabric that you think is a good accent fabric for that area. Just stuck myself, which is the first time today, but it won't be the last. That's something else I've learned. I can never keep my fingers out of the way of this needle. Okay, that works very well. It's there. The color will be drawn out more as more of this color gets into the piece. It doesn't scream at me. The stitching on it doesn't scream out at all because actually the fabric is so busy, the polka dots and the stripes. But I'm liking that a lot. Okay, so far so good. I like what I've got so far, and that's the point. Okay, let's take this off here. And let's look at what we've got with this. Is how far we've gotten so far. This is just our stem of our flower, and I've made one design choice here with the additional fabric, and of course all the threads you use, everything you use is a design choice as such. But a big one is when you slap a piece of fabric onto another one like that. That is very visible. So that doesn't look like much yet, does it? But it's going to build one decision at a time, one scrap at a time. That's how we're going to build this, okay? So thank you for being with me, and we'll get to the next part soon. Bye-bye.